If you've ever watched an episode of Smiling Friends, you'd have noticed a very prominent thing within the universe. The character designs. From a relatively normal human princess to a blobby neon critter man, the world of Smiling Friends surely is diverse. But you may be wondering, how does somebody come up with ideas like a sentient bean fetus that only so much as moans in one scene?
Little baby, huh? Huh? Yeah.
Let's get into it. At the end credits of a typical Smiling Friends episode, you'll see the list of production companies, such as
Goblin Code on Plate
and Cuzack Creatures. Cuzack Creatures specifically is an Australian-based studio led by Michael Cuzack, who's responsible for other shows such as Yolo, Crocodile and Cube, and various short-form cartoons. And if you look closely at their logo, you'll see a certain green creature who resembles... Oh my god! Along with Cuzack, Smiling Friends is also co-created by Zach Hedel, also popularly known as Psychic Pebbles. If you're a fan of Oni Plays, you've certainly heard of him before.
I love hearing my dog whimper and scream while I rub his big red clitoris.
But these two still aren't who the character we're talking about today were created by. What you might not remember is that around January 2025, there was a pretty heated debate about a character that was theorized to show up in Season 3. A Twitter user known as Dinosaur Supersucker was on the Smiling Friends fandom wiki when they found a surprising sight. A character that had been recently added to the site that they didn't quite recognize. This screenshot was taken by them, and I'm sure you can see a page that stands out. A character named Smom. With Dinosaur Supersucker's post going viral, fans were filled with questions, but no answers. Until somebody had those answers. Now, I can't show you this user's profile name, because they chose every word in it to be heinous racial slurs. But what we need to hear is what they said in the reply to Dinosaur Supersucker. He says,
I know the guy who made this character. I really have no idea how he's made it back into the spotlight again. But let me try to explain the best I can. In 2016, when Dale Berger was still a member of Oni Plays, people still knew him for his funny cartoons and impressions. I was his roommate. We were both in college, and really stupid as most young adults are. But he was different. When we would go out and drink, he would become a completely different person. He would break things and get into fights with other students at our school. But the worst thing he ever did was during the summer of 2019, when he hacked into Chris O'Neill's YouTube channel and uploaded a bizarre animation of him beheading all his friends, including Zach. As you know, Twitter was in an uproar about how the cartoon was in poor taste. As Chris had passed away from poison ivy boils the month before the channel hacking, when YouTube terminated Dale's personal channel, he fell back into his alcoholism, and he was absolutely miserable to share a space with, and I moved out and cut ties with him. I haven't heard from him until recently, when he called me on a burner phone. He started going on this insane rant about how he hasn't been happy in a long time, and how he wishes he never started playing football. But the part that concerned me the most is when he started screaming. He was screaming and screaming. I tried to calm him down, but he had completely lost it. He started telling me that he was jealous that so many of the Oni Plays jokes he had made were being used in episodes of Smiling Friends, and how his channel should have never been terminated. That he deserved the love and fame that Zach and Michael were getting for the show. He swore to me that he would take them down, that he would ruin Smiling Friends in any way possible. That's the last I heard from him, until now when I stumbled across this post. Smom is a character that Dale Berger created. I don't know how, but just the fact that Smom has infiltrated his way into the fandom sends shivers down my spine.
Now you may be wondering, is Smom gonna show up in Season 3 of Smiling Friends? Well, he already has.
We should all be scared.